This journey shows one player's adventure from spawn to core to becoming part of a large group whilst participating in community events, however, never forgetting where they came from. This is GioEpic's story. This story begins on the 10th of May 2020, where GioEpic was introduced to the server Core Journey by his cousin, I Am Michelle, and became part of the first Reddit ad invasion. Together they started chopping trees, gaining resources, and quickly got iron armor. The two players travelled far but were stopped by one thing, the zones, which prevented them from being able to place blocks. At the time they did not fully understand how the levelling system of Core Journey operated, resulting in a change of plan. Now, instead of heading closer to the core, they turned around and travelled far out into unexplored chunks. During this adventure, GioEpic found his first diamonds, made a diamond sword and enchanted it with a sharpness 5 book he had found prior in a mine shaft. He could not believe his luck finding this book, and when he put it on a sword, he considered it his most valued item, naming it Techno U2s. This was after one of his favourite content creators. Wielding this sword, he felt more confident, and together the two players set up camp for the night. The next day, GioEpic and I Am Michelle started the construction of their base, formerly being named Mushroomier. It was during this building process the pair would encounter their first death. I Am Michelle was struck down by skeletons. Following the 24-hour ban, I Am Michelle would never fully return to Core Journey, leaving GioEpic alone in an unforgiving hardcore world. Undeterred, GioEpic knew what he had to do and continued construction. At this point in the story, GioEpic was able to group together enough resources to create full diamond armor. Pleased with the progress he had made, GioEpic used the diamonds that he had mined to buy enchanted books from a player named Werno, which allowed for the first time his items to become maxed out. Becoming a regular player, Gio was approached by a player named Simply Saints YT and was asked to join his group, the Saints. However, he politely declined. Not long after, another player named Shade132 asked Gio to join his team, the Phantoms, but again Gio denied the invite. Finally, a player named Oreo Dessert Pizza did not want to team but instead to form an alliance. The two spoke and together created and signed the Treaty of Altar and agreed they would both help one another when in need. GioEpic had also started paying more attention at this point to the chat and thought he could trust a player named Domagawa, and at the same time heard about a group called Pest Control and decided to ask Domagawa about them. He was told a variety of bad stories regarding the group. However, later, from looking at Core Journey subreddit, he saw some posts regarding Pest Control, which showed them not to be as bad as he had been previously told, and GioEpic became interested in finding out more about the group. One day GioEpic was online, as old Nick also logged in. Gio sent him a message asking if he could join PC. He was told that if he proved himself, he would be able to join. A couple of days passed and Gio got into voice chat with some of the members of Pest Control, and he started to form some connections with them. Gio continued in the meantime extending his base, adding a trading station and a few farms, inviting a player named Werno to visit Mushroomier. After a short break from Core Journey, Gio returned. Whilst he had been away, the server had updated to 1.16, giving other players a head start gaining new items, and so GioEpic began the grind for netherite. Another player would join his story named MoonMiner06, and together they obtained maxed out armor and tools yet again, with MoonMiner acting as a backpack for GioEpic, getting paid in quartz. During August 2020, a player named Shade132 contacted GioEpic, asking if he could build a church for the marriage between Fuchsia and Shade. With the help of Morakul, Kistaf, and Fabian6197, the church was constructed. It was the wedding day and everything was built and ready, but as the guests arrived and the ceremony was about to begin, a few players appeared out of nowhere and killed almost everyone. During this chaos, by some miracle, GioEpic was able to walk straight out the front door and escaped using his elytra. It was found out that it was the cunts who had been behind the ambush, and GioEpic mocked the team, joking how he had survived and was able to escape so easily. This was one of GioEpic's major mistakes, as he had got too confident, whilst also aggravating players who kill for fun. Later that day, GioEpic teleported to the core at the wrong time. He was caught in the crossfire in a battle between the cunts and pest control, ending up dead, losing all his items including his precious sword which had been on his adventure with him from the start. What made this death also more painful for GioEpic is during this time he had to take a break from Core Journey for a couple of months, forcing him to continually remember this last death. The second GioEpic returned. He logged straight back into Core Journey, received an ender chest and a silk touch pickaxe from Fabian, and grabbed I Am Michelle's old items which had been sitting dormant for months. Gio knew he had to practice his PvP skills, as he needed to get revenge for the items he had lost. Back on the grind to max level, mining diamonds, buying items, he was quickly back in action. But unfortunately, it was revealed his sword had been given away, and Putin had given it to a player named Ayala Cadena. Gio asked for his sword back, and a deal was made, that if Gio would give a sword with equal enchantments, he would get his original sword back. Eventually, after a lot of enchanting, GioEpic was finally reunited with his original sword, previously thought to have been lost, which is now forever stored in an ender chest. As per usual, I will end this story with a quote from GioEpic. "You cannot benefit without taking risks and bravery."